Hello everyone. Happy Friday. This week went by so fast. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like it was just like August a couple weeks ago. This whole year has gone by so fast, but I hope that you guys are enjoying the season. It's really starting to get colder here and rainy, and I'm honestly loving it. It's such a nice change. I just wanted to kind of pop on really quick. It's going to be a shorter stream today, guys. But I just wanted to pop on really quick to chat with you guys about something that I have been learning or thinking about. And also, if you guys watch any Studio Ghibli movies, I watched Kiki's Delivery Service for the first time yesterday, which kind of is perfectly in line with what I wanted to chat with you guys about, because so many of you guys reach out to me about this thing when it comes to your dream practice or whatever you're working on. Hello, Greg. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining. And we set so many rules up for ourselves, and then we beat ourselves up about not being able to achieve those like sets of accomplishments that we think are what makes us who we are. Like we identify our we tie our meaning to our accomplishments, or how often we lucid dream or astral project, or how much money we make, or whatever that is, whatever it is. And I know that a lot of us do this with lucid dreams and dream work and out of body experiences. And I'm a painter and artist, and so when I watched Kiki's Delivery Service yesterday, I'm not going to like tell you guys the whole entire movie, but there was this really important part where, and first of all, the character in the woods, I literally felt like I was looking at a part of myself. And she lives in the woods, and she's a painter, and when she was talking to Kiki, the witch, when she lost her magic because she was doubting her own ability, when she was talking to Ursula, the girl in the woods, she's like, I've painted so many paintings, and there have been days where I wake up and I can't paint a thing. It's like I don't even know how. And she said that same force that allows her to create paintings is the same force that gives Kiki her magic, and that allows people to cook and come up with ideas. And this energy is always present, but it can't always be on. And so when Kiki was trying to solve like her magic disappearing and not being able to fly, Ursula's like, then just give up. Stop trying. Not give up like on trying to fly, but like stop trying for a while. Don't even think about it. Don't even make it a part of your thought process. Go outside, go check out the clouds, go pick up a new hobby, go read a book, go just come back to your roots, of the joy of being a human and having this experience. We get so caught up in accomplishments and achievements and think that this life is so designed to be competitive. And even though that can be a good drive for us, I feel like this inspiration, this pool of inspiration, can always be tapped into. I don't think that we're ever missing out on experiences when we feel that pool of inspiration is running dry. It's meant to be that way, because we miss out on all of life if we are constantly inspired, constantly having all of these to-do lists and these goals. And of course, it's important to have these achievements, especially in your dreamwork practice and your personal development practice. But it's so important to learn how to disconnect and break your own rules, because when our brain tells us that we need to do something to be successful, like over 90% of the things that our mind tells us aren't true. And if you, like, for example, I get caught in this with either art or YouTube, it's like I feel like I have to be consistent in so many things, and it's like because I care about all of these things, and so my brain thinks that I need to do all of the things that I'm passionate about, have all of them going at the same exact time. And if this, like, we wouldn't have the time, we wouldn't have the energy. And so you'll notice that when you learn a new skill or when you pick up a new interest or something, you like can obsess about it for a while, and then eventually you feel like you're not passionate about it anymore. But it's not because you're not passionate about it anymore. It's because you've used up that inspiration that you had available for it, and those times of downtime and rest and reflection and just allowing yourself to be as you are without necessarily needing to be creative, that's what allows that pool of inspiration to fill back up on its own. You actually don't have to do anything for that. You can find new inspiration that ties you back to your why of the things that you're most passionate about, and you'll notice that passion, that drive, that inspiration come right back. This happens all the time with so many things for me, especially dreams, like working with dreams and dream work. Like, I've never lost my passion with dream work, but sometimes life gets in the way where I'm not remembering as many dreams as I want. Maybe I go like weeks or months without a lucid dream. Maybe I just don't feel like meditating or doing techniques, and I like think something's wrong with me or something. There's nothing literally wrong with us because we can't be on all the time. And that feeling that you feel inside when you do the thing that you're passionate about and you really feel in flow with it, that is your truth. That is who you are, not the part of yourself that needs, the human part of yourself that needs to rest and exist in this moment as you are. Not as much is needed of us as we believe. Like, of course, there are certain things that we need to do to keep our lives going and to take care of ourselves. But if you let go of the rules that you set up for yourself, like, just pick out a few of the things that you've told yourself are 100% necessary for you to be worthy, or for you to be successful, or for you to like justify being able to rest. That's one thing I struggled with, was like feeling guilty if I took time off work or time to rest for myself. And so that was something I practiced challenging, because obviously that wasn't true. I was tying my meaning to how physically tired I was from how hard I was working. And even in my dreamwork practice, I felt like I was lazy if I wasn't doing every single thing, that I've ever taught on my channel, or anything I've ever covered in a class, any tool, any tip, any technique. It's like, just because we're adding to our toolbox doesn't mean we need to pull all of our tools out at the same time. It's actually not recommended to do that, because we will feel overwhelmed. We will procrastinate as a form of stress relief. That's just something that our brain does, and it's not your fault. You're setting yourself up to fail by telling yourself you have to hold so many things at once in order to be worthy, in order to be loved, in order to be successful, in order to say that you're a lucid dreamer, or that you practice dream work, whatever it is. Like, your practice, like, when I say practice, it could be with dream work, it could be with working out, if that is something that you really care about, it could be with writing your book, it could be like whatever your thing is. Your practice will always grow with you, and I find that your practice will always kind of meet you where you're at. And if you have a time of downtime, or you notice yourself kind of retreat, and you don't feel as passionate about like learning about the thing that you really care about the most, or practicing that thing, like, come back and to that why of why that thing's important. And I don't feel like we visit that enough. That's the thing that actually fuels you. When you feel inspiration, kind of motivation and momentum is built from that. But first, you need to allow yourself to find your own inspiration. And I find that comes in the most quiet of times, in the times that we don't really expect. Maybe you're so used to like listening to podcasts and talks and music that you like hardly have a time just to like listen to your own thoughts. But you decide, I'm just going to have a quiet little shower today. And all of a sudden you just have the most beautiful realization, or this new idea, or this new understanding of something that you've been thinking about that you haven't thought about for a while. And whatever it is, I feel like in those moments, our soul, that something deeper, uses those times to get our attention, to redirect us in the way that we need in that moment. Because for me, like, one thing I've been practicing is allowing myself to show up as I am, instead of like having to feel my best, having to have tons of things planned out, even for like my live streams, hanging out with you guys. I want to be able to not overthink every single thing that I do in my life, because I'm trying to do the best that I can to for other people, or to think that was a successful class or course that I did, or whatever it is. I mean, like, we can do things just for the joy of learning, just for the joy of experiencing it as part of the human experience, and not give it any other meaning. Like, I want to live in a way where I remove these meanings that my ego, without me even noticing, has given things. Like, for example, one thing is rest and relaxation. Like, if I physically, I do a ton around my property, around my house. I'm caring for a lot of things physically before I even get to work at my computer or anything. And like, there's so many things that my brain tells me that I need to do before I can even eat, or before I can even rest. And of course I challenge those, and that's not something that I follow. And that's important to realize, is that those thoughts that you're getting from your ego, those are not actions you should be following on. It's something to notice and recognize, but the way to break those patterns is to challenge those beliefs, challenge those thoughts, to break your own rules, right? And so the middle of the day yesterday, I took a hot bath, and I felt the resistance in my brain. I felt the resistance in my body, because I'm so used to, okay, as soon as I wake up, go, until I, like, physically, I'm so tired, I'm like ready to relax and fall asleep in bed. It's like, I want to do things differently now. And that's the power of breaking habits too, is once you start to play around with breaking little habits, you realize how freeing things are, and that you actually get to choose how to do things, in your time. The way that you spend your personal time, you get to choose exactly what that looks like. You get to break all of your own rules, and whatever rules that looks like, and we're only, we're in this experience for so much shorter than we truly believe. And these passions, these inspirations, these pieces of art that we create, they are part of the experience, but so is the rest, so is the grief, so is the sadness, so is not feeling inspired. Because when you do feel inspired again, you can call from that experience, from whatever you moved through. That's what gives art so much depth. Like, oh my gosh, I love the topic of art. I do want to dive fully into it, but I could get lost in what art really means. Art is everything. It is the human experience. It is the voice of humanity. It is the expression of our soul. It is every single emotion wrapped up in one. Art is meant to challenge paradigms and beliefs. It is meant to break us open. It is meant to birth something new out of the one creating it, and out of the one viewing it and experiencing it. And we all have a unique art to give. And if we are constantly shaming ourselves and shoulding ourselves, I should do this instead, or I have to do it this way in order to do this, or it's a waste of time, maybe I shouldn't even do it. Like, your ego is so threatened by your power, by the intensity and fire in your soul. Like, it really is there in all of us for exactly what we desire to spend our time doing, but the drive comes and goes. When we're tapped in, we can feel it. But I think I've really leaned into, instead of trying to figure out how to get that inspiration back, or, okay, I just need to switch my schedule for the 1,000th time. I just need to, we'll start again Monday, I promise, from this time to this time. Like, I'm like, you don't have to constantly try to recreate the wheel in your own life and in your own routine to feel like you're doing good enough, if that makes sense. Like, what would it be like to challenge your own rules? And look at what those rules are. Like, are your rules around, like, overworking and, like, feeling like you need to be exhausted before you're even allowed to rest? Do you have rules that you've set about, like, lucid dreaming? Like, if I don't have a lucid dream once a week, that means that I'm not doing good enough and there's something I need to change. That's not true, right? That sometimes you have no control over when lucidity actually comes in. your ego is trying to bully you into thinking that the things that are happening in your external experience is your fault, when really you are just the experiencer of all of these things. And we can enjoy all of these things when they come, and we can prepare ourselves for more of them, like lucid dreams and business opportunities and whatever it is. But the real work in life is learning how to let go in between what we can't control, and also to love ourselves in the times where we feel we don't deserve it, or in the times where we feel like we have let ourselves down or other people down. I promise you, like, the thoughts that go on in your head, 98% of them or more, I promise you, and scientifically, like, they have looked at this. I've done classes on this. Almost 100% of your thoughts that are just those automatic thoughts throughout your head are not true. They are based on past experiences, things that you have heard, things that you believe to be true, and the meaning that you've given your own existence. And all of these things can change. That's what's cool. This is all just energy, right? Thoughts, fears, beliefs, worries, all of this structure that we create in our life is kind of all an internal game, but we get to choose what parts of those we externalize. And so I just want to encourage you guys to find grace for yourself in every single possible way, because you are doing so much better than you believe that you are. And there's so many people that love you, and I promise you, I am right there with you with going through my own self-doubts in my practice. And you know, there's eventually this place that you shift to from as soon as you get this. And remember, your mind is just a thought generator, right? And you don't have to engage with it, and they actually do flow away if you don't grab a thought and then allow an emotion to be created with it. Like, sometimes you will notice when you're letting shit out, like when you're letting old beliefs out, old stored feelings out, you'll notice that your thoughts have emotions already tied to them. And that's because what goes in, what's stored in, has to come out. And so you will, during your period of releasing and just noticing, like, your thoughts and weird beliefs and why you get frustrated at the little things that your ego gets frustrated at. Nothing's gone wrong. Nothing's wrong with you. You're just observing. You're going to notice a shift where, like, before you believe that all of your thoughts are you and you let them stress you out and you're consumed by them all day, to, okay, I'm going to start to try to notice these things. And in that journey of noticing and practicing noticing, okay, I feel this anxiety again, I'm going to start just noticing what's happening, but not giving it more fuel, literally just watching it like a passing cloud. You're going to feel the feelings in your body, right? And I recommend, like, relaxing into them with your breath, and you're going to notice something. It goes away on its own, and it just, like, lifts. You can't even call back that same thought process tied into that emotion because it literally lifted. That's what happens when we don't be like, okay, I can't feel this right now, I just need to do something to push this back in for a while. Like, when you actually start to relax into your discomfort, when you start to challenge your own rules, when you start to witness your thoughts and emotions in a different way, you realize more about who you are. And once you recognize who you truly are and who you are truly not, that gives you more power to change what you believed to be true about what you can do and what you can accomplish and who you are and what you're here to do, you know? There's nothing more that's changed my life than witnessing the discomfort inside, relaxing into it and holding space for it, and learning to let go as much as I can in every single situation and as much as I can throughout my life. And that includes with those thoughts that say, you know, you haven't lucid dreamed in 12 days. You know what that means? Name your ego. Name your ego, and every single time you have a little thought that's literally not true at all, and you'll know. You'll know when it's your ego or when it's your intuition. Your intuition feels different in your body, and I know you know what I'm talking about. So name your ego. No offense to any Barbaras out there, but my ego is named Barbara. That's kind of the name it chose. I just came to me, and now every time it comes up, I address it as this separate entity from myself, and it helps me immediately let go of whatever story or meaning it was even trying to create. And this is just part of being a human. This is just how our brains are. But the more that you let go, the more that you lean into comfort and relaxation, and all the times that your ego has convinced you that it's not okay to relax, that you don't deserve to relax, that you challenge every single thought and intensity that comes in with just pure love and gratitude and celebration for yourself. Your dream work, and again, this relates to everything, but it really relates to dream work because, at least for me, because that's something that I really create a lot of rules on for myself, if that makes sense at times. And just my daily structure, like I want to feel accomplished when I go to bed, and I'm telling you, that can look like a full 12-hour day of like trying to clean the entire house, try to get 3 videos done and do all this. And I'm like, okay, now I can relax. It's like, that's not sustainable for long. And then what happens when you actually burn out and then you need to rest for much longer because you've literally exerted so much energy? You got to realize that this energy pool we're talking about, energy comes out, energy goes in. It's this constant flow, and the law of balance. Think about the law of balance. If you are going super, super hard in your business or super, super hard in a new relationship, and there's just so much fire and energy, whatever there is, and it's not any fault to us, you're going to notice this pendulum naturally swing the other way to create this sense of balance again, in whatever way it looks like. For example, last year, I did an entire year course. I was doing master classes every single month, a part of this like year-long program. I was working with clients. I started working with Peak Audio, the app that I'm working with now. And I was like pushing myself so hard, and I was showing up weekly to these different live streams outside of just my main channel. And this year I haven't really done any classes. I've done things in the back end, and I'm working on some things, but it wasn't so upfront and like involved. And even though I still am doing so, like, there's no way I would be, I'm telling you, there's so much constantly in my mind that I think, oh, that's such a good idea, I should do that literally right now. Like in every single area of my life, I feel just this excitement for these things that I'm trying to accomplish. So it comes from a good place, but then it's like, we think we have to like learn how to handle more instead of learn how to not feel like we need to handle more. Like we think we just need to get stronger and get faster and just keep the grind going. But I promise you, like, if you practice the law of balance in your own way, you will never have to feel that intense pendulum swing the other way when you feel exhausted, or when you like really just need to like not think about the world for a little bit. Like, find your own balance in that. Like when you have a really long day, like give yourself a little treat, dude. Who says you can't do that? Go take a bubble bath midday and watch your favorite movie. Again, I took a bath midday yesterday and watched Kiki's Delivery Service for the first time. It made me bawl my eyes out because I'm telling you, it was like this exact like message that we're talking about right now, about like how our belief for ourselves is what actually gives us our power, our magic. We can actually experience it when we know and believe that it's there and that we can nurture it. But also learning how to experience, like learning how to experience who you are outside of that one thing that you feel like is your biggest passion or that gives you purpose. Like that is spiritual when you explore outside of that thing. And again, for a lot of us, that will look like rest and just like allowing ourselves to not be like on our A game all the time, And and even today, like I've been really tired. I had a really hard, I almost canceled the live stream, but I really wanted to show up because this is like exactly what I'm talking about. Like showing up as you are and allowing yourself to be as you are. But also allowing yourself so much grace and compassion that you can be a human while being an artist in your own life, you know? And again, I've had a long day. I feel very tired, so maybe some of what I'm saying doesn't make sense or resonate with you guys. But what is meant for you cannot be lost, okay? Like, everything will come to fruition at the exact time it's supposed to, and I truly believe that. What you're doing by learning all these little skills and stuff, you're putting them in your toolbox, and they're going to be right there for the exact moment that you need them, for when they're going to come in handy. I truly believe that. Like, those times where you're like falling off of that main thing that you're working on, again, whether that's lucid dreaming or your business or whatever that is, like that time where you don't feel as inspired to do that thing, guess what? That is literally a sign from your soul being like, okay, great, you have literally given this all of the energy that you need right now, and while it's integrating, while you're creating this level up with this specific skill, it's time to rest in that realm and discover other little things that you enjoy, because guess what? This human experience gets to be something that you can enjoy, even in the little tiny moments. Those are the ones that you can enjoy the most. Like, that's what most of your life is full of those little tiny moments. You know how many of those we have during the day? Like, sometimes I will sit at my computer all day. Like, I will sit at my computer by the time, like, it's like 10 a.m. or something. And it's like getting dark by the time I'm like, okay, now I can enjoy my day. It's like, if I listened to that voice every single day for the rest of my life, that's when people look back at their life and be like, wow, I wish I enjoyed the little things and gave myself time to be a human. You know, life goes by so fast. And those little treats, those little gifts, those little moments that you give to yourself are not only the things you're going to remember the most, but that's going to refuel that energy center that's going to allow you to experience that extremely potent magic in those areas that you want. Like, most of my most vivid lucid dreams and out-of-body experiences have come after long dry spells. Like, after my grandma passed away, for example, 3 years ago, that was like one of the darkest experiences for me ever. There was so much to say in that story, that situation. And now I feel like a completely different person after that whole experience, in the best way. I feel so much more calm. Like, I was confronted with so much that I was stored inside. And it's literally been 3 years of really intense inner work. And every single thing that we go through and experience in life, I promise you look back on it and it has a place. You can see why it had to happen the way that it did. And I know that things can be scary and confusing. And of course, that's part of our brain's mechanism, is to keep us alive and to worry about how to survive. But I want you to know that worry is not you. And I want you to know that worrying about things doesn't change them. And even though I've always been a chronic worrier throughout my life, so this is something that I'm breaking as well. But learning how to relax in the discomfort and seeing it as a sensation has really helped me, because it helps you remember that you're the experiencer. You can never be harmed or hurt. You are consciousness. You are pure, loving awareness. That is who you are. This experience is temporary, and it truly is about experiencing, learning, experiencing pleasure in all of these different beautiful ways that you can, whether it's, again, having a bath in the middle of the day, going on I don't even want to put little limits on it, because it could be so different for everybody, you know, but pleasure, things that really bring out that warmth of, wow, it's good to be alive, you know? Again, it could be so different for everybody. That's really what this human body is for. Like, think about all the senses we have, you know? The ability to learn and touch things and taste things and experience all of these different sensations on our body, feel warm and cold and all these different textures and fuzzy blankets and the best tasting food, and let alone being able to somehow travel into the world of our own consciousness, in like this weird 3D reality in our dreams and experience our senses again, but in a completely unfiltered, it's so beautiful and it is so sacred, and I don't feel like we honor the experience enough. There's nothing you need to become. Like, you are perfect as you are. The reason why you feel that way is because you have a desire to grow and learn, and that's fucking admirable. That doesn't mean that you aren't where you're supposed to be or that there's something wrong with you because you feel a desire to change and learn. That's because you're a good person and you want to experience new things. You want to grow, you want to change, you want to learn how to be better. But don't let that desire create all of these soundtracks of thoughts that try to tell you what your meaning or worth is. This human experience is to learn, to share experiences with each other, to truly challenge your own beliefs about what it is to be you. Again, that's if you go into the journey of who you are, that will be something that will take your entire life. So remember that there is an entire universe inside of you waiting to be discovered. And I know that the external world can be super scary and we see things as just so just full of fear and danger sometimes in the external world. But I want you to know it has nothing to do with what can happen in your life. It has nothing to do with where you're going. Nothing externally can determine your success. The universe is so fluid. Things can change so quickly. Like, I promise you, like, I've been working to move to Washington forever, but the process of like the resources gathering to like get me here and like actually getting here, and the people I met to get us the car to move here, and the things that happened, like, and how everything was placed, I'm telling you, it was like it was planned out in a big journal beforehand by the universe. Every single detail just fit in perfectly with each other, and I didn't have to put my hands on any of it. That's how the universe works. That's what happens when you prioritize yourself, and how you feel. And I know we all want to put other people first because you care and you love people, and that's amazing. And we're in this together. We are truly in this together, but you cannot serve others on a really deep level unless you give yourself the space to rest, to enjoy, to experience pleasure, to experience time where there's nothing expected of you. And don't use the things that you're passionate about as a way to bully yourself. Like cannabis use. That's something that people struggle with in the dreaming community because it suppresses REM sleep. But I know that it's very fucking helpful for a lot of people. And so there's this balance of self-discipline and grace and compassion that we find with ourselves. And the more grace and compassion we have with ourselves, the more we can naturally build this self-discipline. And the more we practice this self-discipline, the more confidence we gain. And it's this beautiful experience of like being able to let go and enjoy, but also build this strength and fire at the same time and really rise to your full potential. And just trust that it will happen all in the same, all in the perfect divine timing, because belief, that's a power. Like, one of our greatest gifts from the universe is the ability to believe and allow that to externalize in our experience. And again, we've talked about the spirituality of it. We've talked about the science of it with our reticular activating system, that natural subconscious filter that we have inside, that helps us find wherever we set our intention or awareness too. And it's like we have this whole system set up to support us. We just need to learn how to use it. We're even our body is just this machine that we are learning how to use it every single day. Even how our brain works and how thoughts and emotions tie together and why we have fear. I mean, again, don't blame yourself for being human. Get curious and learn to break your own rules. Like, even the thoughts that seem so scary, once you start challenging them, who says, what's the evidence that that's true? Your brain's going to get real quiet. You know why? Because it's throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks, because your mind is a thought generator. And it's getting information from the brain, from past events, experiences, meanings that you've already given yourself, and it's using those to generate thoughts. So thoughts that come in, they just show you what past programs you're breaking. And you'll notice as you do this work, your thoughts and those random thoughts that come in start to change. And they start to get more quiet, and they start to get more supportive. And in times of stress, you feel more grounded and calm. You literally start to notice your internal world change. And this is just a reminder to love on yourself and to love on your friends and your family, and to remember to enjoy life. Because tomorrow isn't guaranteed, and those little tiny moments that we have for ourselves throughout the day, that is truly what we remember. But I love you guys so much. I just wanted to come in and see you guys. I'm really glad that I showed up again. I've had such a long day, and I almost didn't show up today, but I knew that I was meant to, and I really wanted to share this with you guys, because I know so many of us are probably feeling very similar things, and I just want you to know that I'm here for all of you. I love you. I care about you. And I want to stay in touch even when I'm not streaming. So if you're in the Telegram chat, we have like a little Telegram community in there where we all hang out outside of the live streams and stuff. Please feel free to join in and hang out with us. I would love to see you guys, and just know that you're not alone. I really want to use this community as a place where you feel supported, you feel loved, you feel safe, and you can share your experiences, whatever those are, whether it's weird dream experiences that you've had, because we all know how the external world talks and thinks about dreams, right? But it's important to me, and they are important, and there's so much that we can get from the world of our dreams. So I appreciate you guys for being here, being in this community, and sharing my biggest passion with me, because again, I don't know where I'd be without this practice. And again, like, trust the ebb and flow of your inspirations and your motivations. Just be easy on yourself, and each day is a new day. Each month is a new month. You can always play games and set goals with yourself and make it fun. That's really what it's about. Enjoy what you're doing. But I love you, and I'll chat with you guys soon. Right now we're streaming Friday nights, but I definitely want to hang out with you guys more. I have lots of videos coming. I have lots of things I'm working on. I know it's been a while for the next podcast episode. I have a few ready. And again, this is kind of what I mean by allowing ourselves to know that whatever work we're putting into our life is work, and we don't have to fill up every single cup at the same time. As much as I want to be posting like daily content on the main channel, I know it'd be very difficult to do that while working on these bigger things that are going to serve an even bigger purpose. And so I'm trusting that process as well. And I just love you guys, and I appreciate you for being here. And I hope you have an incredible weekend, and I will see you next week. Bye guys. Thanks for joining.